today's episode I'm gonna be working on the 2002 Ford Mustang. So I'm gonna show you how to replace your fuel pump, and this will apply the same thing from 94 to 2004. Now the first thing we're gonna do is jack up the car, put it in jack stance just so it's high. Now the first thing that I will do is, now you can skip over this part, but unless you have a saline rear bumper, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the bumper. And just because on this one the bumper goes all the way under the gas tank, and I'll show you a little bit more later, but you cannot drop the gas tank with the bumper on there. So now this part you'll probably have to do on your car. Take this cover off. So there's four Christmas tree push pins in here. So get yourself a screwdriver or some of these special pliers. Take these out. This makes it a lot easier to take them out. All right. So once this comes out, there's going to be these pieces here that you turn, and like on mine they hold this basket or net that you can kind of put stuff in, that way it doesn't move around your trunk. Now quite honestly, you might not need to take this off, but just makes it easier to see what you're doing in here. So we're just going to pull this back a little bit. And for me, I have to pull it back, that way I can actually unbolt the bumper. But if you're not taking off the bumper, you'll probably just want to pull this side off, which there's like a screw or a bolt down here. They might have one of those same clips on yours. Mine doesn't have it, it's just kind of pushed in there. And I just want to get here to the bolt. So, and actually that rubber piece that seals around the filler neck does have the bolts on this side. So yeah, it's a good thing to pull this out. So you can see in there, well, you might not be able to see in there, but there's that rubber piece that has the four little bolts. So you're gonna want to loosen that up, that way your filler neck can kind of move around a little bit. And then we're also gonna loosen up the filler neck from the gas cap. Alright, so I got the bumper off. So there's 3 bolts on the back here. Again, this is gonna look different from what you may have, but good thing I took it off. All the dirt always accumulates under the bumper there. So I'll clean that up, vacuum it up, and you got the 2 bolts here on the inside, 2 on the fender well. But anyways, you can see this bumper comes all the way in here, and so it matches up with the gas tank right about here. So as you can see, if you try to drop this, the bumper's just going to be on the way. So this is just for me anyway. So if you have a GT bumper, they stop about here, no problem to drop this. So what we're going to do is go ahead and take the bolts off of the hangers, which are these on the inside. Loosen up that filler neck, and then we're going to get ready to drop this tank. under here. Now be ready to get some gas on you, more than likely, but there's a few lines under here that you're gonna want to disconnect. So this one you might have enough room, but this is, I believe, for your smog system. So you can, I'll get some pliers, you gotta squeeze it and then just pull it out. You got your fuel filter out there, and so we're gonna disconnect the line that comes from the gas tank. And it's always a good idea just to put a new fuel filter. So I forgot to get one, but I'll go buy one. And then you have your 2 bolts, so one right here, one right here. It's like a 13 millimeter, I think. Let's see. Yep, 13 millimeter. So we're gonna take both of those off, and then once you get those off, we'll swing the there's actually the 2 bolts on the back here, or one at least here on the back. So we'll take this one off. The other one just swings down on that side. So we'll take these 3 down. That side doesn't have any clips on this piece, so that side you can swing it down, detach it. This side, that's why you unbolt it on both sides, because it has the clips for this plastic shield, so it's gonna be stuck to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. I'm gonna start with the fuel filter, and then we'll take those straps off. Alright, so let's connect to the fuel filter. So what I did is I put the filter back in, put a hose. I put obviously on the fuel tank side. I had this little kind of universal fuel pump here, and I'm just powering it with the battery here. So I'm just gonna, get some of the fuel out. This bucket only holds like 3 gallons, but stores have some, this is like $44. I think that's probably like the cheapest, pump. If not, I mean, you just gotta be careful and manage the weight of the tank. Maybe have someone help you keep it kind of level, but alright, so got the gas out of there, got the filler neck out of there. So as you can see, this piece is pretty long, and so now if you're not replacing this little grommet, I mean, quite honestly, this still in good this is still in good condition here. So if you're not replacing this piece, you don't technically have to drop the gas tank that much, because you can just let this kind of drop together. But gas pump is going to be right on top of here. So you have the bolts. I'm going to get the air nozzle and just blow all this dirt out of the way. You know, the plug here, you just disconnect it, unplug it, and then unhook it from that little piece on top. I did unplug this emissions tube back here, just so that way it wasn't hanging up too far. The other one is pretty flexible, so you don't really have to disconnect that one, but the other one, it's kind of a hard line. So since I kind of needed to tilt the gas tank down to get that filler neck out, I did go ahead and disconnect it. So let me blow this up, and then I'm just gonna, you have your fuel line here that you're gonna disconnect from here, the same way as the fuel filter line. So got the pump out of there. So there's these two tabs, and the pump is in there, in that plastic housing. So that's what keeps it on the bottom of the tank. So make sure this stuff doesn't go in there. So once you take this hat off, or you pull it up, you gotta kind of squeeze these, and then that way it releases and you pull it out. So this pump was working, but the car does have a lot of mileage. That's why I'm changing the pump. So car has 190,000 miles. If you see the our other channel, you'll see I did a new engine and all that on this car. So pretty much everything's been redone. So this is the new pump here. It's a Delphi. It does, you know, it has that harness like factory. It does look like I have to put this fuel tank or fuel level sender in there. Other than that, it looks pretty much the same. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing all ready, and then put it back in there. So as you saw, once you are ready to go, just tilt it, put this filler neck in. I put a little bit of lithium grease on the inside of the rubber just to let it slide in. But it slid in pretty easy. I did go ahead and replace it. I will tell you though, I think I'm gonna save this one just in case, because this is the factory part and it never leaked and it still has good good qualities, you know, it's still flexible and everything. So just in case, the one I put in there, I actually remember I ordered a Spectra Premium. I specifically didn't order the Dorman just because I replaced those, and after like a year and a half, they start leaking. So that's just my personal experience with those. So, you know, once you lift it, just line up like this bolt hole lines up, that hanger lines up. I'm gonna go ahead and put the bolt on the other side, bolt it on, and then once the fuel tank's bolted on, I'll go ahead and bolt on the filler neck. I do have to go to the store and get a fuel filter, and then I'll finish that up. So, yep. Everything's connected under here, so this is the metal piece. There's a little bolt here. I think this is just a safety so it doesn't come all the way out. These hoses, and then I just gotta get the fuel filter in there, so I gotta do that. Here on the top, I went ahead and put those 3 bolts up there for the seal, and then the filler neck bolts as well. So I think before I go to the store, I'm gonna go ahead and install that bumper back in, and then I'll finish up by going and getting that filter. Alright, so the last step is just to make sure that your car starts. Cycle the key on and off a few times just to get the fuel primed. Sounds good. After that, pretty much just check underneath the car, make sure there's no fuel leaking anywhere. Obviously, if any of those lines are not put in right, that's gonna start leaking right away. But at this point, you're pretty much done. Just make sure, you know, take it for a drive. Make sure your gas gauge works. I did notice it does work. It's a little bit, it's about half. Before I had a little bit more than half, so I know I put a little fuel on the other container. I put that whole bucket back in, so it sounds about right. So I'm gonna put the car down, finish tying up the lug nuts with the torque wrench, and then I'm probably gonna just drive it, make sure everything is good to go. Other than that, that's how you change the fuel pump on your Mustang. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel, leave any comments, questions. See you guys on the next one.